repaired their own installations, then we will be repurposing almost the operations of the JDF to be moving in now the building materials and to help in communities to do reconstruction. This is necessary because you would have heard President Ali and Prime Minister Motley and others saying, hey, we want to send members of our engineering corps here to assist in the rebuilding. So we definitely must have a complementary corps to support those activities. And other countries, which we are in dialogue with, will be sending members of their engineering team. So very soon you're going to see a full deployment of the JDF along with other engineering corps from other countries coming to assist us with the rebuilding of critical public institutions and to assist the infirm and the vulnerable. This is necessary to be done. After a while, it becomes very costly to be using the resources of the JDF to be delivering packages. But there is a reality which the communities that are affected should start to bear in mind, and indeed the wider Jamaica. In the initial phase of the disaster, you would have seen an influx of NGOs, concerned persons, concerned Jamaicans coming in to give. You see it all on social media, everybody handing out packages and so forth. In another couple of days, you're going to see that dry up. Going to return. That they have been here so long is quite exceptional. Some do have staying power. They will stay with us for a little longer, but it is going to taper off, and which is why the government had to strategically build out a system that could endure and last and be able to continue to deliver even when private and NGO philanthropy dries up. So we're going to eventually move away from the distribution of packages. First of all, a coupon or a card system once we get the shops and stores up and running, and then eventually that will be rolled into an augmented path program where persons who are in need of this kind of relief over an extended period of time can be supported seamlessly. All right? So we are trying to return to normalcy as quickly as possible. We need to support businesses. And what is the purpose of a business? The purpose of a business is to make a profit. Government has to be very careful in how it supports business. There may be times when government gives a grant. I know the DBJ is considering how we can help businesses get back on their feet, and government is considering how that will work. And pardon me for thinking that it would be readily understood by all that we would support profit-making entities by loaning them generators or Starlink communication devices so that they can start operation, so that we can transition from everyday packing a bag, loading it on a truck, driving it to an area. Then we have to have security to protect it, and then we have to take the soldiers to go out and give it to a simpler way, which gives people dignity. You don't have to go and stand up in line and waiting to get. Secondly, gives people choice, as you start to hear it already. Tired of what is in the bag. All right, no, I don't want any more bag, carry something else, come. And we start to hear that coming already. So transitioning back to normalcy restores dignity. It gives choice. But the biggest thing for us, the biggest advantage, it gives accountability. Let me be clear. All of what we have given out so far, the accountability rests on what countries have given to us and what we have recorded in our stores and what we have given out to persons who we expect to give out to others. We have no record of the end beneficiary. We have not asked for any identification. We have not asked for anybody to provide their TRN. In this phase of the relief, it's about just getting the food out there, getting the care packages out there to people. Because were you to do that, you would see an avalanche of misinformation, which we saw coming out. So we have made sure that we have moved the products, the humanitarian supply, into the community as quickly as possible. But that can't go on forever. Once we start to make huge expenditures on humanitarian relief, we must be able to give a certain level of certainty that the expenditure went to the beneficiary. And so we need a system where that can be done. And the voucher systems or the cards provide that kind of support. So for that to happen, we need shops to get back up, and we need the ATM machines to start working. We need the remittances, the remittance houses that you can go and collect your remittances. We need those to start operating again, so we get back to some level of normalcy, so that we can have the transparency and the accountability that everyone is calling for, without understanding the dynamics that you have to first put in place in order to achieve that. And so we are well on our way working with that. Minister Hill has been tasked with doing this. He has so far identified 48 business entities in 2 of the affected parishes. They're seeking to expand that rapidly. And we will, through the program that I have announced, provide through a loan the facility. These are profit-making entities, the facility for them to stand up their operations so that they can have electricity, they could get a refrigerator, we could help them with a Starlink, or maybe their roof is off, we could help them restart. So there is that facility where it's either a grant or a loan, and that is being worked out. I know the private sector is also doing similarly, and that is being coordinated with Mr. Keith Duncan at the lead of the coordination between the private sector and the government, in terms of just trying to get the regular business, private sector supply chain up and running in communities. And as I'm on generators, again, I thought it would be obvious. These days, I learned not to take everything as obvious. You have to explain in excruciating details, because there are those who either don't know or are deliberately trying to confuse. And let me explain in excruciating detail. There are 900,000 Jamaicans impacted, 150,000 houses. So far, Minister, you can recall how many generators we have gotten? 500. Now, all of the smart people who are talking about how we use the generators, who do I decide who gets out of the 900,000 people who could claim 500 generators? I keep saying to people, do not listen to the mischief and nonsense. And as your Prime Minister, my job is to make sure that you have the information. You can do with it what you want, but the record must be there, so that those who are vested in mischief, who carry information falsely with malice, that you can counter them. So a lot of the nonsense you hear, you can dismiss it. 500, it's less than 560 generators so far. None of those generators will be used in the program I just mentioned, which is to provide a loan or a grant to businesses that we're trying to stand up, to ensure that the private sector supply chain starts to operate. All of the generators that we have been given through private donations will be used to build resilience in the public operations. In that way, we guarantee that the benefit of the 500 is multiplied to benefit everyone. So what we have done, we have said that we're going to give the generators and other such items that build resilience, we're going to give them to our police station that now don't have. So out of this, what we intend to do is to ensure that every police station that is built or under construction now, or that currently exists, we're going to make sure that they have a generator. But it's not just giving them. They will have to provide us with a system of maintaining it, so that when this generator goes, it is replaced. So that we can now say, when we are hit by another disaster, our police stations have backup capability. If you go into any of the communities that have been badly, where are people gathering to get their phones charged and to get communications? They are going to either the police station, the municipal office, fire brigade. So we're going to provide as many of these generators, providing they meet the required specs, to these operations, to the emergency services and the critical services. And that's what we've been doing. I personally have given to 3 police stations. And the people there are very happy to have it, because that's where they go to get some electricity to charge their phone and have safety in making their calls. And I know that the same thing has been done with the Starlinks that we have gotten, that they have been used to give to hospitals, the police station, the fire brigade, and so forth. So that's how we are using it. And that's the smartest and best way to use it, to ensure that the average person benefits from these donations. And I'm sure that our donors would be far more satisfied to know that these are used in the public good and not given to private persons.